Hi YouTube, this is Darkon633 and today I'm bringing a review of the Power Rangers Dino Charge, Gold Ranger, and Graphite Ranger action heroes. Now, these figures are part of a wave which also contains the Terra Charge Megazord and the Dino Drive figures, but due to the fact that pretty much confirmed to this point that the Dino Drive forms will only be used in the Megazord, it reminds me too much of the Super Mega modes, and personally, while the designs look okay, I just don't feel like spending that much extra just for forms that will not be used outside of the Megazord. To me, it's just kind of waste and kind of fodder to just release more toys. Now, these two are obviously new Rangers that were featured on Zyuden Sentai Kyoryuger, known as Kyoryu Gold and Kyoryu Gray. Now, in the American versions, it's just the Gold and Graphite Ranger, so instead of just going with Gray, they decided to give it a little bit more flair and change it to the Graphite Ranger, which I actually approve. Now, these figures are designed quite differently compared to the original Ranger figures. Now, the main bulk is pretty much the same you're going to expect from the original Dino Charge figures, which I already did review on my channel in the multi-pack that contained Fury and the exclusive weapon. I'll be linking it somewhere in the description, just if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch that as well. But I still think these are very nice figures, and Bandai of America did a very nice job designing both characters, even if the Gold Ranger might be quite different shade than what he's supposed to be, since it seems like Bandai of America doesn't seem to really do the gold coloring correctly on figures. And they seem to do a little bit better, actually, on the Ranger keys than they do the actual figures, which is surprising. I think it's because it's a lot smaller product. They can go ahead and make a better paint to compensate for the multi-packs. But anyways, we'll now go into the box, which does contain some spoilers, if you haven't seen them by now. They've been floating around the net for a while, so it's not really too much of a spoiler at this point. But anyways, we'll take a look at the boxes. It shows a picture of the Dino Charge Ray Gold. A bunch of the figures in the line, including the villains, which I've yet to see. And it's just the typical blister card. Same thing with the Graphite Ranger here. It's pretty cool, regardless. But anyways, we'll now look at the figures themselves. Now, articulation-wise, except for the double shoulder design that the Gold Ranger has, it's pretty much the same you'll expect on the Dino Charge Ranger figures. His head does turn, but only about that far due to the way that shoulders are designed. Shoulders have no articulation since it is one single piece including the wing flaps back here. So it's going to have a little bit of restriction in movement. Doesn't affect the shoulders too much, which is good. He does have a single elbow, which goes only one way, and his wrist can swivel. He doesn't have any waist articulation, but his legs have full range of movement, including the hips. He does have a single knee joint, and its legs can swivel. As for the Graphite Ranger here, his head can go around that far. He has a single shoulder movement due to the way that the shoulder pads are designed. Does turn all the way around and also bend outward. Same thing with the wrists and the elbows. This side as well. And then the same. Same articulation in the hips. Bend to the knee and swivel. So you're pretty much going to get the same amount of articulation compared to the Dino Charge Ranger figures. Now, let's take a quick look at the Gold Ranger's weapons, since his weapons are actually quite different compared to the other Rangers. Now, as you can see, his morpher is of a gauntlet design, and it's actually removable from the figure, so that's cool that you can actually remove it. Just going to make him stand here. We'll take a look at the morpher, which is just casted in this dull gold plastic, but it has a very good design, and it does have a lot of details etched in. It's just not painted. We have the sword, which I forgot exactly what the American name for this is, but it's known as the Xander Thunder in Japan, and this is the Gabri Changer. But obviously this cannot open and so on like it would do in the Japanese version. The American version of the roleplay cannot open either, so it's pretty close like, in that aspect, I guess. Just attach the weapons back to his hand. This reminds me a lot of the Ryuki visor. It's got a very similar end to it. But once you pull it out, it gets kind of difficult to actually put back in at times, since it's a very thin plastic there, so it could be a bit dangerous to play around with if you pull it out too much, but it is quite flexible, so it's not really that bad. I do like the fact that he does have a lot of details in the front of his chest, but I hate the fact that they just stop it halfway. As you can see, at least the belt's fully painted there, but they didn't paint any of the details in the back on the chest, so it's a bit distracting. Same thing happens for the Graphite Ranger here. It's got a very nice paint in the front, but on the back, as you can see, it just stops. It's a bit unfortunate that they go ahead and do that. Now we'll take a look at the Graphite Ranger's weapons, and you can already see from far away, but as you can see, it's casted in a translucent green plastic rather than just the regular neon green color. And while that is really cool, I can see why some collectors might be a bit annoyed since it's no longer a uniform color for all the Rangers. But I can kind of give it some break, since in the Japanese version they are Spirit Rangers. So I can kind of give it a little bit of a little break there, just because it does help represent the Spirit Rangers a little better, even if they should have been the correct colors. But other than that, that's pretty much what you could expect for these two figures. But I'll be back to show a little comparison with the other 5 Rangers, since now we have the first 7 Rangers in Dino Charge so far. And here we have the full team assembled up to this point. And I have to admit, they still look really nice compared to the other 5 Rangers. And I can't wait to finally get the complete set of Rangers this season, since out of all the seasons in Power Rangers, canon-wise, this is going to be, if I remember correctly, the largest amount of Rangers in a single team, not including evil variations of the Rangers like the SPD, A-Squad, and various other Ranger seasons, but I have to admit they look very nice together, and I cannot wait to finally have the complete set of the Rangers. Kyoryu Gold, or the Gold Ranger from Power Rangers Dino Charge, and Kyoryu Gray, or known as the Graphite Ranger in Dino Charge, recently have actually appeared in several store shelves, and they are still quite hard to get a hold of. It took me some time to find them, since I actually found them at a Target not too long ago, so I've been very happy to finally get a hold of them. I actually had to go a little bit out of my way just to find them, since the normal stores nearby me didn't have any of the new waves, including the Dino Drive Rangers, but it is cool that I finally was able to get a hold of these 2 figures, and by far, out of all the Rangers so far, I think these 2 are by far the most impressive. I got these for around $10 each with taxes, which I still think is highly recommended, especially since we got one more Ranger that Bandai Japan didn't release, or Bandai Tamashii didn't release, since they only ended with Kyoryu Gold, and now we actually got an American exclusive toy, since they never made a regular action figure for the Kyoryugers, which is a shame that they didn't continue with. But anyways, I still think this is a very nice set, and it's highly recommended for fans of Power Rangers or Dino Charge in general. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hero Otaku and Gideon Blog for all the latest in hero news, including Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and various other hero-related productions. Also, please check me out on Twitter under DarkOn633. Also, please check down the other channels down below, including the WRW podcast and my various friends' channels. For now, I'll be coming back to you for more Dino Charge reviews and Power Ranger reviews in general in the future. But for now, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.